out on Twitter. I'll
Yeah,
copy
tweet
that.
Michigan hockey, puck drop in 29 minutes.
Glad to have them. And I think basketball is going to have a really solid year. So they need to basically save our sports here.
Best defensive start for Michigan hockey since 1925.
And the offense also seems like it's a freaking
it's only
problem.
number one in the country.
Yeah, that'll do.
Like I said, if they win both of these, it will be the best start since 1995. And I can't go back further because that's all the data allowed. I'll have to make an SID request to verify. But if they win tonight and get to 5-0, it's the best start of the 21st century.
That will do.
I hope other people just show up wearing suits.
We didn't even suggest that we were going to be doing it. They just get it.
I thought about this earlier today. I was like, we should wear suits or something. I was like, I don't have fatigues just laying around the house. I mean, I don't know if you have any from your Navy days. Just come out, dress blues.
Time to go to war. I'm wearing this because it's time to go to battle.
Because it's battle time. It's one battle after another week. All right.
Yes, it is. Did you get that sent out there?
We'll tweet it out.
Put it out on. Yeah, I'll put it on Insta, and then we'll get her going.
All right. All right. Hey, Reed's already here in the chat. Let's go. Go blue, gentlemen. I like the energy off the bat.
Love it, Reed. We will be going live in a moment, sir.
We are wearing suits. We are very serious about this, as you can tell. Yeah, basketball has a scrimmage tomorrow night, I think.
Hell yeah.
Scrimmage, yeah. Here they play.
All right, then. Shall we go live?
Let's do it.
All right. Going live in 3, 2, 1. All right, welcome to Out of the Blue from the Block M Podcast Network, part of the Fan First Sports Network, the podcast that is wearing suits to demonstrate we mean business. I am Jared Stormer of the Block M Podcast Network. With me, as always, is Andy Bailey, my hetero life mate of MaizenBrew.com. Andy Bailey, for him, the action is the juice. Sir, clearly we mean business, as demonstrated by our attire. I don't know if you got the reference here. But it's pretty on the nose for those of you that couldn't put 2 and 2 together.
Yeah, we had to do it. It was right up our alley again. We didn't have fatigues laying around, didn't have any blue collar shirts to wear as well. So suits felt appropriate.
Suits felt appropriate. Look, let's start there. It was definitely one of the internet bits of the week, ripping on Sharon Moore. And honestly, it seemed like Michigan fans were getting in on it too, because now's not the time to do it. If you do that sort of thing after a win, it's like hilarious. This is cute. This is like Jim Harbaugh doing the "for he's a jolly good fella." Doing it after a loss where you get absolutely manhandled, I'm ready to call HR. It's dumb.
It just felt so elementary. Like it felt like we look right now, like a bunch of idiots, just like, hey,
like a bunch of idiots.
Business, you see this?
Could you tell?
Business going on. And yeah, I thought it was kind of distracting from the point. All the memes were hilarious. Like I love the one with building blocks. Like we're getting back to basics here, building the foundation. Yeah, all of it was silly and I mean justified too.
It is justified. And yeah, this is a big week. This is a big week for Michigan football. This is a big week for the program. It's a huge week for Sharon Moore because, as evidenced by some of this ongoing discussion, I think people are kind of over it. They're not really into 7-5 against Big Ten opponents, with a real danger of dropping to 7-6. There's a real danger of dropping below 500 against Big Ten opponents this year. So the leash has shortened after that Ohio State win, which certainly gave you some chain on the leash. It is definitely shortened, at least in public perception. How they're feeling within the organization and the board and the AD, I have no idea. I can't speak to that, but the buyout isn't that much. And it is definitely, like we said on last week's pod, the era of what have you done for me lately?
Yeah, you and I were discussing before we hopped on. Everything still feels so premature and overreactionary. Like just not jumping into this, not like going to even at most a coin flip the chance of losing Bryce Underwood or the recruiting classes. It's a year and a half in. It's coming. I know it's a bad loss, guys. It hurts, but we put this one to bed on Saturday and we forget about this.
Absolutely. And Josh in the comments asking if we would take Biff Poggi as the full-time head coach right now. No, that feels reactionary to me. You've got to give Sharon Moore the chance to right the ship this season. I will tell you, if it's really bad, say lose to Washington, maybe drop Maryland and drop Ohio State, this isn't like Jim Harbaugh for us a couple years back where we were really patient and we were really amongst the podcasts that were like, guys, I don't know who's better out there. I might be a little bit more willing to be talked into it, but we were talking off air, like, who are you going to get? Curt Cignetti just got locked up for 8 more years at 11 million per year. Like, he's not going anywhere. So then there's just not a name. There's no Jim Harbaugh waiting out there. There's no readily made apparent suitor. So because of that, I don't want to risk losing this incredible recruiting class. Michigan also one of the youngest teams in the country this year, the youngest team in the Big Ten. Average age is 20.5. So it is a very, very young team bringing back a lot. I wouldn't want to lose that for next year, but I can understand where the frustrations are coming on.
I mean, we saw it with Kalen DeBoer in week 1 at Alabama. We see it with Marcus Freeman. Anytime Notre Dame loses a game, they're ready to fire Freeman, move on from this, burn the ship. So I think it's just kind of par for the course now, but it is a different time. Like you're not getting the 3 years that Rich Rod had. Like that leash is cut in half, if not more, especially if that's going on. And Reed asked a good question here in the chat. Do we have an issue with Moore not being more vocal in the media with how disappointing the performance was?
I think people were going to be upset no matter what he came out and said after that one. But the fact that he came out and was like, check me out, I've got my Pep Boys blue collar jacket on. It was like, we're just going to get back to work. It did rub me a little bit the wrong way. I'm not going to lie to you, but overall, that's not what matters.
The only thing I like about him wearing the blue collar shirt is that everybody started making fun of Sharon Moore, not the team.
Yes, that's true. Yeah. Getting on him for it.
Shifted the focus.
That's what you get paid for.
Focus on him. He can be the meme. Take all the shots at him. Keep it away from the team. And in terms of just having like a more like, I don't know, visceral, angry reaction, like a Saban or somebody like that, I just don't think it's in his DNA. Like, I think he's just always going to be just kind of bland and vanilla in these things. Just say words like trying to be physical, back to fundamentals, multiple on offense, things like that, and just like deflect as much as possible.
Yeah, no, I understand if you're sick of the coach speak, that's what we get, and don't really get a lot of peeks behind the curtain in the Sharon Moore era to know what's going on behind the scenes. We're not going to hear about that. But let's hope that he was more vocal behind the scenes with the team and rallies them there to let them know that, like, guys, that is not going to be acceptable in any way, shape, or form for the rest of the season. And everything is still in front of you. Like, you win out, you're in the playoffs. So, like, everything is still in front of you.
Yeah, I mean, again, like we can solve a lot this week, but I think a lot of people are projecting forward, and also you got to stew in it for a week, which sucks. Like you can't just have the quick rinse. So, I mean, a lot on the line this weekend.
Lot on the line. Let's touch the banner before we get into previewing Washington. We already mentioned the Indiana Cignetti extension, 8-year, $11.6 million annually. Sounds like he really wants to be at Indiana, and credit to them, man. Their buy-in for their football program and their athletic department in general has really led to one of the more stunning turnarounds. So Cignetti's going to be there, and apparently, like, Indiana's just going to be a wagon for the next 8 years.
This team, Indiana as a program, averaged 4 wins a year for the 30 years before Cignetti. 4 a year. They're the losingest program in the Power Four. And now Cignetti shows up. He did an interview with Joel Klatt this week that was great. He talked about how he was ready to stay at JMU, ready to retire there, enjoyed his time, but opportunity came up and he was like, okay, we'll move up, and did it. His 2 coordinators have been with him for over a decade. He hired them when he was coaching Division II, and they were paid like $8,000 a piece, and they've just ridden with him all the way up. The way, I don't know, man, I'm so fascinated by him. Like, I'm glad for him. I'm happy for him. I'm really happy he's not going to Penn State because that was my biggest fear. But it's really cool to have a character and a coach like Cignetti in college football.
Yeah, to the next topic here. It sounds like Matt Rule still the betting favorite for the Penn State job. Didn't exactly come out and pour water on it. Fine with that. Go ahead, take Raiola. We're good with that. Yeah, just not Signetti, which looks like that's not happening. And not like I also heard like Urban Meyer was a dream request for them. I have no reason to believe that that's something that's in the realm of possibility. So we're not going to do that. Just like John Harbaugh isn't coming to Michigan. We need to exist on the same planet here, and a planet of reasonable expectations too. So let's keep it pushing there. Where do you think James Franklin ends up, though? That's more of an interesting one to me.
CBS.
It could. Part of his buyout clause is in order to he has to have a job. So it'll be interesting to see if he probably just, I would guess as well, he just takes a commentator role for a year and then sees what's out there. He's still pretty young. And like as much as we shit on James Franklin, we shit on James Franklin for being compared to like the Harbaughs and the top tier coaches. I think Michigan State would be enamored with James Franklin. Like if they end up making a move, that's a tremendous move for them.
Yeah, of the jobs that are open right now, I would imagine like one of the best one, Arkansas, got to be one of the top jobs right now. It's open. SEC school investing a lot in the football program. Oklahoma State, baby, Big 12. You're got a lot of good funding there. Stillwater's
Virginia
a cool place.
Tech.
Virginia Tech. Again, with schools like that, though, I always wonder if they have the issue with Michigan with like admissions. Like Arkansas, you're at least, I don't think you're at least historically having that kind of battle. You could be. I could be completely wrong about that. But there could be more jobs coming open, too. I think the Kentucky job could be coming open. Florida could be coming open.
Wisconsin.
Wisconsin, another one.
Yeah. It sounds like they're trending that way with both Wisconsin and Florida. They're just trying to navigate those large buyouts for both Napier and Fickle, respectively. So, yeah, won't be the last job to open, and we'll talk coaching carousel. Always one of my favorite topics to talk about. Keep an eye on some of these young up and comers, but it's not a year. It's not a year with just a ton of really obvious slam dunk hires out there. So it'll be interesting to see like who is really itchy on the trigger finger to make that switch with the remaining couple weeks here. Last bit here, hockey about to drop puck, baby. Talk us through it.
Cool. We got Bobby Moe coming to town this weekend. Robert Morris, we have a 2-game stand in Ann Arbor. Play tonight, play tomorrow. Looking for the best start in program history in the 21st century tonight. Could be one of the best starts ever if we get the sweep. Move to 6-0. This team is off to the best defensive start since 1925.
That'll do.
Been a while. Some of the stats are sounding like the 2023 Michigan football team, where you have to go back like in between the big wars and be like, okay, that seems pretty good and significant. We'll go from that one. And the offense, number 1 in the country, top power play as well. So this team is a wagon right now, looking to keep it going. We get to 6-0. We have a showdown with Western Michigan next week, who is defending national champions in a home and home. So exciting times.
Exciting times. Tune into hockey where you can. You kind of need to have Big Ten Network to catch a lot of the hockey games.
You have to have Plus. You have to have Big Ten Plus for most of these. However, I will say Big Ten Network, I think, is hosting both or at least one of the Western Michigan games next week. So most people should be able to catch that one.
Yep. Michigan basketball's got a scrimmage coming up this week. That tips off officially in November. Let's hope we don't need them to save the sports season, but a lot riding on that season as well. We need a good season from them. It doesn't have to be like national championship or bust, but that's got to be a good season to kind of right the ship for what's been an up and down sports year. Already for the Pistons, Jaden Ivey's going to miss at least a month, having his right knee scoped, unrelated to the injury last year. Such a bummer, man. Like just a kid that works his ass off and going to start behind the chains. I mean, he's already behind the chains. He hasn't played with this team in a year. So that's a bummer. Rough start for the Pistons. Hopefully basketball is similarly a wagon, the Michigan basketball team, because I could use it. I took the week off from sports. It was a movie week for me, brother.
It's funny how we talk about it being an up and down sports year when the Lions, the Pistons, the Tigers are all in the playoffs. Michigan beat Ohio State, and our basketball team is fresh off the biggest turnaround in program history.
Michigan beat Ohio State last year.
Okay. Well, it's still in the calendar year as of from when it happened.
Correct. Yes, absolutely. Are we going to make it to Ann Arbor for some basketball? Entirely possible. It is entirely
be there
possible.
For hockey in February for the Penn State game.
It is very possible. I could make a trip back there. I've got an overseas trip coming up. That's going to take priority. Get out actually across the pond this time for a little bit. But aside from that, I could definitely see it. We'll let you know if we do. We'd love to catch up with some listeners there. Shall we talk Washington, sir?
Let's do it, man. I'm ready.
All right, we got Washington this week coming back to the confines of the Big House. It's a noon kickoff as the Lord intended. 5-1 Washington Huskies, unranked, but right up there with the teams that you could consider ranking. This is a really good team. Jed Fish got them heading the right direction. This is another really good offense, back-to-back really good offenses that this Michigan defense is going to have to face with DeMond Williams, who he's a weapon. We'll talk about him and what we think about him against this defense, but let it not be said that the dude is not a weapon. And then weapons everywhere else on this offense as well with Denzel Boston, Jonah Coleman, and then a defense that's improving. As I looked into them. Is it an elite unit? Not yet. And I don't know if they'll get there under Jed Fish, but it's improving. So this is a real team. This is a real test on Saturday.
To me, this is a triage game. It's time to examine the damage from last week and see where we are. We're not in the ER yet, but a few more losses, and this could quickly land this program on the operating table. I think that's the way I'm approaching this, the way I'm seeing it for the program with Sharon and everybody included. And they got to understand this fast. They will have some opportunities, I think, early in this game. Last 2 weeks, Washington has been in a double-digit hole. They were down 10-0 to Rutgers. They were down 20-3 against Maryland entering the fourth quarter and came back and won in just a wacky game. So, like, Michigan, they need to get a fast start, need to get out ahead of this thing. But, like, this is the right opponent to do so. It's not a cupcake, not a Central Michigan you can just come out and walk over. This is a true test, a good triage.
Yes. Yeah. I like the way that you put that. And against Ohio State, they really struggled. I don't know that we can compare our defense to Ohio State's defense right now. Just statistically, we're in different planes. Michigan dropped to 30th in scoring defense after that USC game there, but they definitely struggled to score, to move the ball against Ohio State. And then against Rutgers, probably the second best defense that they've seen thus far. They really looked like a complete unit on that side of the ball. So do you want to start with this Washington offense?
Yeah, let's start. I mean, it's a Jed Fish team. I think that's the only right way to do it.
Yeah, absolutely. 17th best offense as far as points per game, 39.2 points per game against this Michigan defense, which has fallen to 30th there. Already mentioned DeMond Williams, Jonah Coleman, Denzel Boston. There's some real stuns on it. Roebuck, I like as well. They've got weapons there. And like you said, it's a Jed Fish team. So to you, what does that mean? What does it mean that we're facing a Jed Fish team for those that aren't maybe familiar post-Michigan?
It's pro style, it's balanced, and a lot of schemes are thrown, or a lot of throws are schemed up for the quarterback. So a stat I found that I really like to kind of like back up what I was seeing with my eyes when I texted you last week during their game. 58% of DeMond Williams' pass attempts come between the numbers. So that's slants, that's crossers, that's posts. That's a lot of them. Just like you put your back foot here, you look, there's your target. Next one. Nice, easy reads for his quarterback. Doesn't have a very strong arm, but is very accurate, intermediate to short. Does a lot of things just very well. Doesn't make a lot of mistakes. And that's a credit to Fish, man. This is a balanced team. They like to work that way, take the pressure off their quarterback. He worked at Michigan. We saw this early under Harbaugh, a lot of West Coast pro style principles.
Does that make you nervous, though? A quarterback who's pretty accurate with the short throws, and that was a lot of what USC was doing. They weren't beating us with big balls down the field. That's exactly what we're going to face this week. But what concerns me even more is that DeMond Williams can absolutely run. Last week, DeMond Williams accounted for 538 yards and 4 touchdowns against Rutgers. Like, that is studly stuff. That is enough to get you at least a couple votes for the Heisman. Needs to keep that up throughout the season, or at least, maybe not to that level. Those are stupid numbers. But if he can even get 2/3 of that per game for the rest of the year, he's going to be in Heisman conversations. So this is a true test for this Michigan defense, because it's going to be a lot of quick outs, a lot of flood concepts, a lot of stuff like within 10 yards of the line of scrimmage with good receivers, Coleman and Roebuck. And then Jonah Coleman, who can also catch a little bit out of the backfield. Not necessarily what he's known for, more of a physical back. But this is going to be a challenge, man. And it's the exact kind of challenge I think Michigan needs. Like, it's good, in my opinion, that they go right back to back with another test like this. Because, look, man, if you want to beat anything this season, this is the kind of team you need to beat.
2 things Michigan's going to circle in this game that they're really going to like. One, Jonah Coleman has not gone over 70 yards since week 2. A big reason for that, this offensive line is bad. They're 112th in the country in sacks allowed, 59th in TFLs, and they're expected to be without both their left tackle and left guard this week.
Michigan has to feast, man. We absolutely have to win that battle. Whereas last week, I think people were maybe overblowing how much we were getting blown off the ball on the defensive side of the ball. It was more schemed up that USC was just quick drops, getting rid of the ball, which they're going to do again. Jed Fish, very smart coach, particularly offensively. So expect a lot more of that. Really quick drops, getting the ball out quickly, nothing major. They're not going to let him drop back, wait for receivers to get open and let Barham, Moore, and Guy pin their ears back. I don't expect them to allow that to happen once again this week.
One thing I'm fascinated about, USC did it to us and Indiana did it against Oregon to slow down the kind of quick passing game. And it seems counterintuitive. They went to the 4-3. They got rid of a DB and put an extra linebacker on the field. And I'm kind of fascinated by that with what they've done and everything. Because we know football cyclical, like it goes around in the different cycles with schemes and everything else on both sides of the football. So I don't know if we'll see that this year. It's not really in Wink Martindale, that Raven style DNA, but I thought it was a very interesting way to slow down some of these attacks because you wouldn't think that. You think it would be the opposite.
Yeah, absolutely. And I don't know where we've got the better depth. I would think it's linebacker after the Hillman performance, but none of our linebackers are excellent in coverage. There's nobody back there that you're like, unless you decide to make the move for Mason Curtis moving up to linebacker this week, but then you're even weaker at safety. I didn't rewatch the whole game, but Rod Moore didn't have a great game last week either. I mean, I'm hoping that was just knocking the rust off still, but our safeties were rough last week. So
I wasn't as much on Rod. It was the Hillman experience for me, especially like, again, if Brandon Hillman, just the only person that doesn't do his job on that 3rd and 29. If he just does his job, we're off the field there. You get the ball back. It's one possession.
It's a different game, man. It's going to be like, it could be the Rosetta Stone play for the entire season if they don't get it turned around. I literally think we're going to look back at that play. Forget that game. We're going to look back at that play and be like, this is where we lost it.
And I think that's one of the things that keeps coming up with this defense when I did my film study this week. It's a lot of hero ball. It's a lot of a player going out there trying to force a play instead of just worrying about their thing. Like Jayshawn Barham had his worst game at Michigan this season against USC, just never set the edge, always just kind of rushing blindly, getting after it, not reading, not playing very heady. So that's the adjustment I want to see. Like I expect from Wink to simplify things. I expect a lot of base defense in this game and then just kind of play back and make Washington beat you. Reed had a good question here about what's the answer if a team gets the ball out quickly? Tackle. We'll start there. Like if they want to get the ball out quickly, they're going to be throwing short passes. You got to make tackles in space.
You can play more press coverage as well, but you really better hit on those presses. Like you better not let those guys get past you. Then you better be physical at the line. I'm not sure how good our corners are in press. Zeke's certainly a very physical corner. I would expect that he would be pretty good in those types of concepts, but it's not something that we do a lot of. And you've got to be very technically sound because if not, that guy's getting past you, and it could be even worse in the past.
Another thing I'd like to see is to change from spot dropping in zones to pattern matching. And what I mean by that is like spot dropping is what most people equate zone defense to. You just drop into a zone, you guard that area, you're good. Too often this season we've had players guarding grass because of that. Pattern matching is you play zone defense based off the routes in front of you. So like you could end up in a man-to-man situation. You could end up playing a zone over here, but it always keeps players more involved in the actual play and you have less players guarding grass.
Another tough week for the cornerback. So I thought acquitted themselves well last week. Roebuck and Denzel Boston, where would you put them compared to Jacoby Lane and Mekhi Lemon?
They're down. They're definitely Roebuck is solid, but he's not on the other two's level.
5'11" freshman.
He's not on this level. Denzel Boston could be the second best though of the group. He's more NFL body compared to like a Mekhi Lemon, but he's a problem. I mean, he gave Will Johnson fits last year.
It's a concern. There's talent on this offense, as you mentioned. Luckily, the thing that they don't, I won't say they don't have talent, but they're not strong right now in the offensive line. So that's got to be where Michigan exploits their advantage. And if there's a unit that really needs to have a bounce back, like I said, the defensive line, I don't think they graded out as poorly as some people were saying, but it wasn't great either. And like you mentioned, Barham didn't have a great game outside of a play here or there. I'm just not sure that I think they schemed away from Barham a lot in that. They're like, what he's best at is a pure pass rusher. And he wasn't really able to do much of that last week. He's got to be better in run fits. He's got to be better setting the edge and things like that this week to show that you're a well-rounded player and not just a specialty edge rusher. I mean, because then you're just Josh Uche, you know?
Yeah, that's what he's playing like. He was just playing like a pass rusher, not a football player. Like, wasn't doing everything else that's required of a football player in this game. And while we're here, I'll say my number one with a bullet either side of the ball key to game is stopping the run. That
once again, same as last week.
Without a doubt this time. Like, stop the run and everything else will come from there. That is priority number 1, 2, and 3 in this game.
Could not agree more. And it was something we harped on hard last week. We're like, guys, like they can, and what happened? They ran the ball all over us and we never had a chance to get back in it. They started to dominate time of possession. And if you do it against this team here with what we've seen from our offense, which we'll get to here shortly, we're just not going to be able to hang in it. It's going to be something closer to 28-14 again. It really will. Like if they're able to run the ball on us again, all hope is lost because we're still establishing an identity on the other side of the ball. I don't necessarily trust this team to be excellent against the pass right now. I think we can end up being an okay pass defense when it's all said and done, but we have to be getting pressure. We have to be stopping the run first and foremost to mitigate the effects of some of those other aspects.
That was part of the scheme in the game plan last week. Wink was trying to protect the secondary. And then that's what kind of divulged into the run ball falling apart. And then it just spiraled from there with the adjustments and everything else. So it starts with stopping the run again.
Yeah, I'm with you. Good question from Lewis here. What does he think about Washington playing at 9 o'clock body time? Meaning for them, it'll be 9 a.m. Pacific after coming out here. That's tough, man.
It's tough.
Granted, I'm much older, but I do a lot of traveling, and it takes me 2 to 3 days to start to feel normal after 3 hours or more of a time change. These are 18 to 21-year-old kids, as you mentioned in there. So I would imagine that the impacts are not quite as much, but I think you'd be lying if you said it didn't make any impact. I don't have the stats in front of me, but the teams that have been traveling 3 hours or more for these games, generally it shows in like their ability to cover the spread, their ability to win. They don't have the best record when you're traveling this far across the country.
Unless you're UCLA going to East Lansing.
UCLA, they have to keep that interim, right? I forget his name.
I
Everyone thinks it's Neuheisel, but
yeah.
No, Neuheisel's the OC.
Oh yeah, keep him.
Yeah, I forget his name, which is terrible because like he's the guy, but then everyone's like, "Way to go, Neuheisel!" They're lifting him up over their shoulders, like, guys, he's actually not the interim.
I forget their interim is Tim Skipper. Now like Neuheisel.
Tim Skipper.
That's
a hell of a name. That's a football name right there. Call him Skip. Skip. Michigan currently the number 20 rush defense after USC. We were a top 10 unit until last week. Are we going to play like that top 10 unit, or are we going to play like a top 30 unit? It could be the difference against Washington. Anything else on this Washington offense versus our defense?
Washington only 3 turnovers on the season. Something to keep an eye on in this game if we can force
similar to USC, except USC fumbled it a little bit.
Michigan's had 10 straight games with an interception. So I'd love to get another one in this one.
Yep, he played clean against Rutgers. 4 touchdowns, no interceptions, no fumbles for Williams last week in a very clean, very effective game against Rutgers. Oh, boy. Let's switch sides of the ball. Before we do, let's take a quick break. Just a couple seconds here for those of you live, an ad break for those of you listening via podcast. Be back right after this. All right, we are back. We are righteous men. We are still wearing suits because we mean business, and that's how you dictate what you mean. I'm going to be wearing an old GI uniform next week because we're ready to storm the beaches or some dumb shit. Whatever.
I'm going to wear a pirate suit because I'm, looking for booty. I don't know.
Because yar.
Because yar. That's why.
So stupid. Let's talk about the Michigan offense coming off. Like, I totally agree with you. A point that you made, I think you made it on the podcast, but definitely to me, that a lot of derision going towards the defense. But this offense put up 13 points. This offense was not very good last week. This offense hasn't been very good all season outside of Central Michigan. It was enough against Nebraska, and I think way too many people leaning on that Nebraska game. Like, yeah, see, that's how it should look. Nebraska game wasn't exactly clean either.
No, not by any stretch of the imagination. So like, I hate that is like the beacon of light. Like, look at the Nebraska performance. Like, we had to scratch and claw to get to 30. I wouldn't be circling that one.
Yeah, exactly. I don't look at that as some Rosetta Stone for success. So
No,
it's got to be better this week than it was last week. Justice Haynes, we don't know. They said he could have came back in that game, but then they're saying he's
I don't
still
think
a
he's
game time
playing. I
decision.
don't think
I
he's
don't think he's
playing.
playing either. They're very careful about these guys, and I get it. He's an NFL prospect. He's got his whole future to worry about. But without Justice Haynes, man, get ready for Bryson Cusdahl minutes, and
It's
I'm very nervous.
I have a point about that. Like, no, we don't need to get ready for Bryson Cusdahl minutes. We just have to play with a lead. And like Jordan Marshall should be ready for 25 carries in this game, minimum
A little
25 carries for
easier.
Jordan Marshall. Just like the
I
Alabama game,
love
we
that
did it in the
idea, but
ReliaQuest Bowl. I've seen
exactly.
it.
But do you think they'll do it in this game? And do you think we'll get a lead and hold a lead in this game? I love where your head's at.
That's what
but
they
do we
have
have
to
the
do.
ability to do it? Yeah, they have to
That's
do it, because if you're trying to win a shootout against this Washington team, brother, pack it up. Pack it up.
You're not going to win a shootout. It's a race to 24. First team to get to 24 is going to win this game.
Most likely. Yeah, most likely there. So, yeah, Jordan Marshall, brother, get ready for the ice bath after this one, because we're going to run the hell out of him. He is a more physical runner than Justice Haynes, although Justice Haynes is such a good balance of like speed,
They're both
cutting
like
ability.
an interesting
really,
balance, like
yeah.
you know, like 6'1" by half dozen the other in terms of like physicality to speed ratio.
Yeah. Tony, that's a good point. Can you check what the weather's going to be in Ann Arbor? Can we hope for just a rogue snowstorm? That would be lovely, something like that, so they can't get their passing attack going. I don't think that's going to be the case. It's unseasonably warm. Yeah, it does suck that Capana is injured. Capana was kind of the guy, or Parker, that I was hoping might rise to the top as RB3. Yeah. We've said it a million times on this podcast. RB3, very important, coveted, should be a coveted position at the University of Michigan when we're doing what we're supposed to be doing, because RB3 is going to get 5 to 8 carries or something like that. And the other guys are going to get 14, 10, and then you spread it out, and it's a balanced rushing attack. Still trying to figure out who RB3 is.
A game-saving pass against Illinois in 2022 on 4th down.
Great spot to be RB4 at the University of Michigan.
Isaiah
You're
Gash,
mostly just
out.
hanging out, but yeah. Yeah, man. So I'm nervous. I'm very nervous about our offense's ability. The good thing is Mario Manningham 2.0, aka Andy Marsh, is really starting to emerge, and we know what we have with McCulley. I still think there's a really good receiving threat with Marlon Klein. It's going to come down to Bryce Underwood taking care of the ball for me. Only the one turnover last week, but it was in a bad spot. It cost us points, can't cost us points, and needs to play a clean game in this one. And time of possession, being able to sustain long drives, and once again, keep Damon Williams and that explosive offense off the field. 60% chance of rain, high of 76 degrees, though.
Like the rain.
Yikes. Yeah, that's a warm day.
The Washington defense, we're very familiar with this scheme. It's led by old friend Ryan Walters, fresh off the unemployment line after getting let go at Purdue, back up in the Northwest.
Hell of a DC at Illinois.
Hell of a DC there. Rush defense is top 10 in the country. Pass defense is 86th. However, to that point, both their safeties are studs. They, I believe, they're 2 of the top 3 in tackles, and they got corner Tacario Davis back, the Arizona transfer, finally healthy after missing 3 games, returned against Rutgers, and kind of gave that unit the boost they needed.
Yeah, not a defense that necessarily scares me. There's a couple guys I like. Jacob Lane, Jacob and Manu, both of the Jacobs I kind of like. Manu he's only 5'11", but he's a senior linebacker. He tends to be in the right spots from what I've seen from them. So there's a couple guys there. It's a defense that's trending in the right direction. This is by no means a terrible defense. No. They're top 40 in scoring. This is the 37th best scoring defense. So you look at it just on paper, 37th scoring defense, top 20 scoring offense. That sounds on paper like a well-rounded team, and we're halfway through the season. So I would say that those numbers carry some weight.
Those are good. I mean, besides Ohio State, though, they do benefit from good scheduling of Colorado State, UC Davis, Washington State, Maryland, and Rutgers.
Correct. Yeah. The Rutgers game is the one that I'm more looking at, because that's like Rutgers and Ohio State are really the only ones that I'm taking from. And they struggled against Ohio State. It was closer than it appeared early on in that one, though.
It was.
But they just couldn't poke it into the end zone. And Ohio State is, we'll get to them. We'll get to that. I'm not ready for that discussion yet. We need to figure out a way to beat this Washington team. So on offense, kind of already said, you got to take care of the ball. Jordan Marshall has got to play a big hand in this. You've got to win time of possession. Again, it's kind of all the same things against USC. It's a very similar type of approach, I think, that you should take going into this game.
Yeah, I think so as well. I think another big key is to win first down, because if you win first down, then you can get into tempo and you can really dictate terms. We saw that with Michigan on that drive where Underwood ultimately threw the interception. That was on third down, but that first down was the shot to Andrew Marsh right at the goal line. Brings that down, everything starts to look a little bit differently, but could, woulds, and shoulds don't win games. Another thing I want to mention here for Underwood to really help settle him in, get him on the edge more in this game. There's only one naked
Yes.
bootleg against
Yes.
USC. I think we need to at least run one a quarter in this one at minimum, because I think that's where he does a lot of his damage. It gives him the run pass option on the perimeter as well. He throws exceptionally well on the run. And also, that's a great way to help a quarterback that's getting happy feet in the pocket right now because he's getting a lot of pressure, feel more comfortable and get into a rhythm.
Yeah, I would love to do that with 12 personnel and Justice Haynes back there so you could roll out and have tight ends and Justice Haynes kind of rolling with you at that direction, and then you have the option to take off and run. I think for what his strengths are, that would really help Bryce Underwood. Alas, we'll see about Justice Haynes. I'm not optimistic. I'm with you on that one, that I'd be very surprised if they play him. It's just the way that it is right now. So do we need to take more deep shots? Something that I was kind of considering. I'm like, I think we need to establish the run in a better way. You know how I feel about this. But against these bad pass defenses, which USC and Washington are bad pass defenses, is there an opportunity to get that early lead with some deep shots? I didn't like it early on in the last one. They opened up with a flea flicker, looking for that deep shot early on. In theory, it's great. But with Justice Haynes and Jordan Marshall, I really like establishing that run and getting that 1-2 punch going. With just Jordan Marshall, I think it's more of a question.
I like at least one deep shot a quarter philosophically, just
I
to
like
keep a
that.
defense honest. However, one hand feeds the other here. Depends on the offensive line. Are we going to go mass protect and just have a two-man route outside? Or how are we going to set this up to where Underwood has time to hit that deep shot? Because as we know, these plays take a little bit of time to develop. So that's why, it kind of feeds into your first point though. Establish the run, get going with that. These safeties like to play downhill, and then that will set up the play action, should make the pass defense and the pass pro a little bit more manageable for the offensive line, and give Underwood the time he needs to take a decent shot. Just give one of these receivers a chance, man. Like, we know Marsh didn't come down with that one, but he was damn close. He's a true freshman. Keep giving him more, give him more reps, and we know McCauley can bring down damn near anything that's close to him.
Yeah, absolutely. And no real demons on their defense. Jacob Lane leads the team with 2.5 sacks. And look, if our offensive line can't at least mitigate this pass rush, brother, it's time to go to the transfer portal in the offseason and replace a lot of these guys.
Their
Because
best edge guys out, dude. Zach Durfee, he's been injured this year, been battling it. They're off their best pass rushing performance against Rutgers, so maybe again, like you said, trending in the right direction. But for the offensive line, like, if you're looking for like a get right performance from a unit, this is it. Like, you got to be able to block these guys.
And a point that I wanted to make, I don't want to get too off topic here, but it's kind of in the realm of what we're discussing. We were talking about this, didn't put it on the podcast, but Michigan really whiffed in the transfer portal on the offensive line. I think it gets mitigated because of what we got with Justice Haynes and how great he's been, and guys like TJ Metcalf are contributing, but they whiffed on the offensive line. Those guys can't even get into the game. And that's been a concern. It's starting to play itself out, because now it's like, no, we got Gio El-Hadi. We'll be fine. Gio El-Hadi was ass last week. He was hot, seared ass.
Well, I think you're just starting to see it across college football that, like, regardless of need, you should take a transfer at almost every position group, and then just to add competition to the room, just a jolt one way or the other. Like, I know you got to manage roster size and everything with the incoming freshmen, but just bringing in somebody like, hey, Luke Schoonmaker's leaving. I know we have Colston Loveland coming up, but you know what'll help him out? AJ Barner. That'll be really nice.
Is Grant Newsom's job potentially on the line this week if they play like they played last week?
Not because of his recruiting.
Recruiting is excellent. But it's almost like you would love to, you wouldn't want to make wholesale changes, but it'd be nice to like demote Newsom and demote Sharon Moore to OC or something like that. Like, do some demotions and reshuffle the deck chairs. But
honestly, it's in place to make a quote unquote demotion with Grant Newsom because Juan Castillo is on staff. And like, more
that's
proven,
exactly what I was leaning at.
Offensive line coach. The one thing with Sharon that's always just kind of baffled me is his superpower was coaching the offensive line and play calling. I mean, you look at the Rose Bowl play calling; it's one of the best called games we've seen at Michigan. And the fact that he gave that up really confused me. Like you see these guys when they come up as like elite play callers, like we just played against one in Lincoln Riley. He's not giving that up. He has an OC, but he's calling the plays in this one. So then it's like, why doesn't Sharon take that back over? Because we saw it again last year against Ohio State. Who was calling the plays in the shoe? Sharon Moore.
It's a very good point. Good question from Tony here. When does on-field performance outweigh recruiting? For some fans, it's already there. For us on this podcast, it is not there, and he gets the entire season, and we'll judge it post-Ohio State. Dave Portnoy, who I certainly don't listen to religiously, but I did catch one clip about they were asking him if we like lose out or have another similar season but beat Ohio State, where does that leave you? And I liked his answer. He's like, in a very confusing place. And I kind of agreed with him on that. Like, I would be in a very confusing position if we drop Washington and Maryland, but then beat Ohio State. I don't know what to do with that. I really don't. In the moment, I would be so happy, but then Ohio State would get to continue on and go on another playoff run again. And it would feel like we're leaving stuff on the table. So it's a very good question, Tony. We're not there yet, but come back on November 30th and ask me that. Is there a November? Yeah, there's a November 30th.
Yeah, you're right. It's one of those that just be super confusing though, because like honestly, we just end up at the same point of wait and see. Like you'd have to earn another year after that. You win 8 games and do this. I hate the phrase that's kind of been circulating social media that this is a must win for Sharon. I don't like that phrasing. It's every game from here on out's a must win in terms of the college football playoff. But this is not a must win for Sharon Moore. If Sharon Moore loses this game and then wins out, beats Michigan State and Ohio State and goes 9-3, takes that step, overcomes the adversity, goes to a bowl and gets its 10th win, then no, it's not a must win. Then it doesn't qualify that way. I know we like to, dabble in the dramatic and over infantilize everything, but like, no, this is not a must win for his program tenure. I can tell you that.
And if that scenario plays itself out with the youngest team in the Big Ten, I think we're feeling awesome. 9-3 with this team going into next year, bringing back what we bring back. Now you'd have to attack the transfer portal with much more intentionality than you did this season. And you definitely have to replace a lot of what we're going to lose on defense, but yeah, 9-3 with wins over Ohio State and your 3 losses being to pretty good teams. As we're still kind of figuring things out, I'd be fine with that. So it's way too early to make any declaration like that. It's way too early to panic when if we win out, we're in the playoff. Like that's insane to be calling for Sharon Moore's head after last week. You have a little bit more ground to stand on. If we get blown out again and it's 31-13 again this week, you'll have a little more ground to stand on. But like, I love Savion Hyder way too much to just throw him away and give him to Penn State or Ohio State.
Yeah. And I mean, again, Bryce Underwood's nice as well. Like having him, would love not to lose him. And a point to your thing about the youth, when we ran 12 personnel against USC, 6 of our 11 offensive players were true freshmen or redshirt freshmen.
Loved that little detail that you sent me. Yeah, worth noting. Now, you could flip the script and say, did we have an over-reliance coming into this season on freshmen? Possibly. Yeah, possibly. I mean, they brought in some guys to compete on the offensive line, wide receiver room, cornerback room. For whatever reason, those guys haven't hit in a lot of those areas outside of McCulley, who's hit very big. So I'm willing to give a little bit of a pass, whereas last year we were not giving them a pass on what they brought in the quarterback room. We were like, this is unacceptable. Like this, you have to know better. This year, like I thought they attacked the transfer portal with a lot of intention. It's just some guys haven't come on, some guys haven't hit. I don't know what Lawrence Hattar is doing in practice to not get any reps, but like he's apparently not any better than Gio El-Hadi, which I think you or I, maybe not solo, but if you and I went out together and they allowed 12 people and you and I were allowed to fill in for one Gio El-Hadi, how do you think we'd do?
I mean, if we're wearing
other than being miserable,
if we're wearing suits, I think we feel pretty good.
I think we feel pretty good about our ability to
just business.
Yeah. Is that a Brooks Brothers he's wearing, Tim?
Yes, it is.
I believe it's Banana Republic. Oh, for the love of God. All right, brother. Anything else on our offense versus their defense?
No, you want a quick special teams note on Washington?
Sure, yeah. I did not do much work on this. I'm not going to lie. That this week
It's
was a little bit of a turn the brain off from sports. So,
This
what you
is
got
not
on
going to
special
make you feel
teams?
very good in terms of our special teams. They have the best kick and punt returner duo in the country. Adam Muhammad leads the Big Ten with
Sick.
11 returns for 282 yards, and Denzel Boston averages 21 yards per punt return, and he already housed one this season.
Sick. Love this. Love this. So a better offense than our offense, a comparable defense, and a better special teams. And we're favored by a touchdown?
Damn near. I will say the good news is this is Washington's quote unquote third road game. Their first one was Washington State, which really doesn't count. The other one was
No.
Maryland, where they're down 20-3
That counts.
entering the fourth quarter. And that one, and now coming to Michigan and playing at 9 a.m. So this could be a very different team home and away, because I believe that Maryland game was the first game Jed Fish has won as a head coach east of the Mississippi.
You think Hudson Hollenbeck's got like a 21-yard punt in him? We've seen 28 yards this year.
Maybe. I don't know.
Like, how low can we get?
How bad can how high can we get? He's hit like a 50-yarder this year. He's hitting all over the map. It's like he's like checking off ones on like a bingo board. Like, can we just get like consistent 45, just consistently?
I saw a picture of him. He was wearing Birkenstock sandals, very feminine energy. It wasn't working for me. I was just like, I don't know, man.
No suit.
I don't know about this. No suit. Yeah, not wearing a suit. It's past 5 p.m. and you're not a farmer. What are you doing? Special teams remains just a horrible adventure, not the fun kind of adventure where you're going on a romp in the woods, or a romp in the jungle. It's more like the Blair Witch Project. Like, this will be an adventure and everyone's dead.
Everyone's dead. Yeah. JB Brown did a presser this week and talked about how, Samaj is really starting to, field punts well. It's like, it's year 3. I would hope.
Really coming around. Brother, he's got one more year of eligibility. He is a junior, and he's been our punt returner for 2 seasons. I'm glad he's coming around, really rounding into form.
If you thought Sherrod Moore wearing a blue-collar shirt was the stupidest thing you've seen this week during a press conference, you missed JB Brown speaking.
You know who's really starting to come into their own? Greg Crippen. It's like, well, he's a 5th-year senior, so.
Yeah, good. Glad to see it. Glad he's arrived.
Also, on that, how sick are you of the Gus Johnson bit? I watched a Gus Johnson game last week. He does the David Ojabo. He does it for everyone, and that doesn't work with like a boring name where it's like David Moak, and it's like, all right, like, dude, sweet Gus.
I think it was oversaturation, because I remember like in 21 when we were getting more prime games and we had Gus and Joel. I was so excited every time. We have Gus and Joel this weekend. I audibly sighed when I found out. I was just like,
I know.
I mean, because honestly, like, the game sucked last week, but Noah Eagle and Todd Blackledge were excellent on the call.
I like them. I know. Really yeah. Shout out to my cousins. I watched the game with them, and they weren't as in on. Wasn't it Ian Eagle, or did we have Noah?
I think we had Noah. I think it was Noah.
I think we had Noah.
I think Blackledge is really good.
Yeah, I thought it was a good group as well. Terrible game. I won't be rewatching it anytime soon, but I thought they were fine. I would put them ahead. And I still like Klatt, but the Gus Johnson bit is like, he's become a caricature.
Exactly. He's ruined it. I mean, again, the gold standard to me is still Herbie and Fowler. Like,
Herbie and Fowler are good at what they do. Really like what I get from Devin Gardner from time to time. I think Devin Gardner brings a lot of energy as well. Yeah, man. Let's get into the players of the games and predictions, shall we?
Let's do it. We've already touched on a bunch of keys. I'm going to hit on just a couple more here. Offense, keep the foot on the gas. I mentioned the double-digit deficits Washington's been able to overcome. So I think if you get ahead, start pounding the rock. Don't get cute with it. Just get it down. On defense, we've already mentioned you got to set the edge. You got to keep Damon Williams in the pocket, whether that's some mush rushes where it's like you're kind of fake rushing and you're just settling in. I think that'll help slow down some of the screens as well, like up the reaction time to keep guys in space. And I think Wink's going to simplify this week. So I think we're going to see a faster defense. Similar to USC, we already touched on it. Win the rushing battle, win the game. Point. on the table, there it is. But you have to do it creatively. For better or for worse, Sharon Moore is a little bit like Billy Napier, where he does some of his best coaching when his back is against the wall. Think about when he was forced into coaching in an interim basis last season to close the year. I think we could see it again in this one. I think Michigan rebounds and gets the win, but I do think Washington covers the 5.5. Give me Michigan 28-24, players of the game. Jordan Marshall on offense. I hope he has a big day. I hope they feed him in this one. At least 20, 25 carries for him, even more if he's feeling up to it in this one. And on defense, give me Derek Moore with the bounce back.
I like it. I like it. Yeah, my keys to the game, very similar to USC because once again, we're going up against a really good offense with kind of a really suspect pass defense. So it's going to sound repetitive. Hit Damon Williams, only 5'11". He's under 200 pounds.
Light.
So we need to, very light, hit him early and often. Like TJ Guy hitting that guy, that's like an extra 70 pounds falling on you. You're going to feel that. So they're going to want to run it with Damon Williams. They're going to want to try and establish the run and be balanced. Take that away from them. They cannot, if there's another week like last week where they're running the ball and Jonah Coleman's going for $140, brother, pack it in. Pack it in. Cannot happen again this week. So it is my number one key to the game. Get back to being that Michigan rush defense that we'd have expected. Hit Damon Williams and figure out some sort of counter for these quick passes, or else everyone's just going to do it against us. Wisconsin was doing it. Obviously, USC did it. You've got to find a counter for that. Wink Martindale, I trust him to do that. I trust the football acumen of a guy that's forgotten more about ball than I'll ever know. So that's going to be a major, major key. On offense, possess the ball. I'd like no turnovers. We kind of build in like a turnover a game for having a freshman quarterback. I don't think you can have it against this team. No. I just don't think we're well-rounded enough to even allow for one. So just winning the turnover margin isn't good enough. It needs to be like 3-0 in favor of the Wolverines here. We've got to turn them over, and we can't turn the ball over because we're just not built for it right now. Doesn't sound like there will be Justice Haynes, so Jordan Marshall needs to have a big game in this one. I'm going to say Bryce Underwood, my offensive player of the game, and on defense, give me Cole Sullivan across the middle there. Look, I've tried reverse jinxes. I've tried predicting Michigan to pull the upset. I know Michigan's favored in this one. 6.5 is way too much. I think Washington's going to win this game. I'm just going to go with the flat out loss. I don't know that we can fix everything we need to fix in 1 week. I was very discouraged by what I saw last week, and there's no Justice Haynes. I hope coming back to the confines of the big house gives them that boost. But I just think Washington right now is playing like a better team. I think Washington's going to win this 28-17 and force some very uncomfortable conversations. For the love of God, prove me wrong. I've tried, I don't want this. Like, people that are going to hate on me for this, fine. I don't care. I don't want this. I am hoping that maybe looking at it without the maize tinted glasses and looking at this for what it is, can at least start to have some of these difficult conversations, man. I think Michigan is really in a dangerous spot here this Saturday.
Race to 24. I think first team to get to 24 is going to win this game, man. I think it's going to be interesting. I mean, I'm fascinated to see how this plays out because there's 100 different storylines that could come from this game, one side or the other.
Mm-hmm. There will be a storyline here. The only way it's not a storyline, Michigan wins 28-27 or something.
No, there's still a storyline because we won the game.
There's still a storyline because yeah, that's true. Yeah. There's going to be a lot of storylines. There's going to be a lot of eyes on this. The podcast after this is going to be fascinating no matter what. Very excited for us to talk about it because we're still collecting data. It feels like we said that after USC, we would have all the data that we need to know. I don't know that's the case, but I am making my prediction based on 6 games of data collection. And based off of that data collection, Michigan doesn't have it right now. So I'm hoping there's still more data to be collected. I'm hoping this team has another gear to get to, because if not, it's going to be almost an exact replica of last season.
It's certainly trending that way. You want to look around the country real quick? I got a couple quick questions for you.
Absolutely.
Who's your Heisman right now?
It's a fun one. It's become a lot more fun in recent weeks. It's wide the F open. Give me Fernando Mendoza right now. I'm trying to think. Yeah, I would say Mendoza, but there's so many other people that are in this mix. Dante Moore, Ty Simpson. Justice Haynes would have been a name I mentioned here if we finished out the game against USC and we won. I would say he's probably out of that mix right now. How about Trinidad Chambliss from Ole Miss making a late push? He got a late start, so it'll be tough to catch up to some of these other
that
guys.
Washington State game was bad.
And yeah, he's got a rough performance in there.
Give
me Mendoza for now. Yeah, Ty Simpson's a great one.
Give me Ty Simpson, but I will say this, man, with a big game this weekend, don't sleep on a rise from like Mekhi Lemon, because he looked like Jackson Smith and Jigba, and he's very comfortable.
Currently the number one rated wide receiver in the country. They're protected. They put him over Jordan Tyson this week in a lot of the mocks.
He is dynamic. He can do a lot of things. I'd love to see a player like Ruben Bain get some love, the Miami defensive end, because he might be the best player I've seen.
They call him Hurricane Bain. Stud.
He's so good. It makes me like root for Miami. And I'm like, stop it. Stop doing this. Carson Beck plays there. I hate this. I know. And he brings me into it. So I'm with you though. I think it's a wide open race. I think I'm really excited to see somebody kind of jump in here and like seize the momentum. So, cause the opportunity's there. But across the country, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 games of ranked on ranked. Give me your thoughts. LSU Vandy.
Fun one. Very, very fun. Give me Vandy in this one. I don't know what's going on with Nussmeier, but
he's hurt.
It might be. And he had something coming into the season that they said would linger. Yeah. So that really gives me concern for him long-term as well. I've been swung on Vandy here. I think Vandy's too balanced and LSU's that defense is nasty, but I think Vandy does just enough.
I'm with you. I wish I had more to add, but I'm with you. I'm with Clark Lee. I like Pavia brings the edge they need. They played really well in Tuscaloosa despite the loss. So I think at home they'll get it done. Ole Miss versus Georgia.
Fun one. Give me Ole Miss. That Georgia pass rush concerns me. I don't know what's going on with that pass rush. It's just not the Georgia defense of years past. Ole Miss does always find a way to lose like a game that they should win and a big game as well. I think Lane Kiffin's always good for one of those. But I'll go Ole Miss in a tight one, lower scoring than you'd expect.
Yeah, I think it's going to be lower scoring. Give me Georgia. They could be a tough team to put away. If they still haven't put together a full game this year. If they can do it, I think they can be deadly in this one.
It's in Athens too.
In Athens, we saw some of the limitations with Chambliss with more tape on him as well. So we'll see how that plays into Kirby Smart's hands. Tennessee versus Bama. Feels like Alabama's getting no breaks in the schedule.
Seriously, very, very difficult one, man. Tough for Bama. Luckily, this one's at home, but for them to have to go Mizzou and then immediately turn around with this Tennessee team, they're favored by 8 points. I'll go Bama, but give me Tennessee to cover.
I like that. Similar to Georgia, Bama struggles to put together a full game. I love Ty Simpson. I think Tennessee has a terrible secondary, so I think he could have a big day in this. And they got a lot of good receivers.
Is that your number one quarterback for the draft now?
No, I don't think he should come. It doesn't have enough starts for me.
Okay.
He only has 6 starts. It's like I like my quarterbacks to at least have 20, to be honest. So
fair enough.
But stud, man. I think he's the best one in the country that I've seen. Next game, USC Notre Dame. Notre Dame, big favorite in this one too.
Big favorite. Definitely USC to cover. Big emotional turnaround for USC after a big win for them over Michigan. Man, give me the over in this one. It's 60.5. Notre Dame defense. I don't know what's going on in that one. I'll take USC. Give me the more experienced quarterback against the redshirt freshman quarterback, CJ Carr, who, I have no problem. Admitting I really like. This is going to be a good one there. I don't feel great about it, but I'll take USC.
I'm so torn. I think this is an extremely tight game. Because of travel, give me Notre Dame. I think it'll be a little tougher for USC to come back out. We saw them come out flat against Illinois. I think the same thing could happen in this game. And again, Notre Dame has 2 losses by a combined 4 points against A&M and Miami. So really close to being the best team in the country.
I think Notre Dame will be able to have a more balanced attack than we did against USC too, and make it a little harder on USC.
I think so as well. Missouri, Auburn. I feel like such an Auburn, like they're so good, but like they're just a year away. They're just a year away. They're
talking about firing Hugh Freeze, and I'm like, how many times are you guys going to do this at Auburn? How many times are you going to do it? You have got to give him one more year. You are close for the first time. Like there's been a lot of Auburn teams where I'm like, what is the point of this team? Not the case with this Auburn team. Like,
No.
it's close.
It's
close. I've been on Mizzou all year. I'm not backing off of Mizzou. I think they played Bama really, really well. And which was good because they didn't play anybody up till Bama. So that was a good showing for them to show that, like, no, we're good. We're just not quite Bama good. But I think they are good enough for Auburn. But man, tough place to play, tough defense. It's going to be tough for Ahmad Hardy to get going. But give me Mizzou.
Big emotional comeback for Missouri too, because that was a heartbreaking loss to Alabama. Like, very tough loss. I think it could be an ugly game, but I'm with you. I think give me Mizzou late to come back in this one, get the run going, do just enough, and be able to get the win. Last game I have for you, the Holy War, Utah BYU, one of my favorite rivalries.
Yeah, this one's fun. I don't really know because I haven't watched BYU yet. I've got their running back on our fantasy team, but I haven't seen a full BYU game. I've seen Utah play and was like a little bit taken aback by how the defense wasn't as physical. I think they've turned it around since then. I'll go Utah going on the road. Not far. You're in the same state, which that doesn't even really count when you're in the state of Utah. Can't believe that Utah of all states has 2 ranked teams in it. That's bizarre. Give me Utah on this one.
Yeah, BYU again, surging for the second straight year. I believe they're undefeated, but really haven't played anybody yet. So I think this will be a big jump up in competition. Utah proved against Texas Tech. They're not ready to compete with the top end, but I still think they're ready to dominate a team like dominate a team like BYU. I don't think they're on the quite same level. I trust Kyle Whittingham in this spot to get it done. Just to be a little too much for him, especially with a healthy quarterback now.
I'm with you. A couple fun ones here, only for the sickos. Maryland at UCLA.
UCLA, travel.
UCLA's favored by 3.5. You've got to give that job to Tim Skipper.
You have to. I mean, they turned around, and I'm fascinated to see what Penn State does from here as well.
Yeah, absolutely. I think you got to go with UCLA here as well. The travel, the emotional letdown, like they're packing it in. Drew Aller out for the season. I don't think we talked about that. That's such a bummer. We have never been Aller guys on this podcast, but that's a bummer.
It's who's Penn State play?
At Iowa.
Yeah, that's such a tough spot, man. That's a new.
Oh yeah, I was getting them confused.
It was my fault. I transitioned. It's such a tough spot. Such a tough spot to go into. It's like, all right, first game, new quarterback, new head coach. You're going to Kinnick. Good luck.
Enjoy. Yeah, give me Iowa in that one. Iowa favored by 3.5. I would take Iowa in that one. And then the Friday night game, Louisville at Miami. Our Louisville hopes have been dashed. Our playoff picks not looking great overall. Michigan hanging on by a thread, but Texas out, Penn State out.
We've taken
Louisville
some hits.
unranked.
Tony's Iowa State hit. I mean, definitely took a hit. This Louisville team, though, man, like, could the Braun brothers get one here, though?
13.5. I would definitely bet Louisville to cover. I might actually throw some on that action. I think Louisville covers. That Miami defense has 2 edge rushers I love, though. They're a problem. Yeah. It's a problem.
Louisville's 4-1. Only loss was last week.
Yeah, to a good Virginia team that we like as well.
So
yeah,
I think
it's another fun week, man. It's another fun week. Like at this point in the schedule, you're getting good matchups every single week. Fantasy wise, your team is an absolute wagon. I'm clinging to hopes of the playoffs in the paid league. But man, this dude just dominates college football fantasy. Say what you will until the playoffs when someone's going to find a way to get you.
I am right on pace, just like always. I always get to the semifinals or the finals and just lay a complete F and egg every single time.
Yeah. Question here before we get out of here. Who would you want to poach from Penn State as a transfer recruit? It's definitely Olesh, the easily. Tight end. Yeah. That's an easy one for me. There is the 5-star running back that decommitted as well. That could be, but I mean, how many riches can one man have?
Is he a 27 recruit though? So I think that'd be a nice one.
I think he's 27, so that would be nice. Yeah, the future past Hyder. Yeah. I like it. We got to beat Washington first, or else we're going to have our own issues with recruits. So one step at a time. This is a massive, massive week for Michigan football and therefore the world. And certainly this podcast for Sharon Moore, for the staff, for the fans, for this team. It's massive, man. I cannot wait for the podcast, win, lose, or draw. I pray it's a win. We have a fun podcast guest on Monday to break it down. So I'm really, really hoping a former Michigan Wolverine player, a recent Michigan Wolverine player, a little tease. he would never have missed that Brandon Hillman tackle. Never in a million years would he have missed that Brandon Hillman tackle. He'll be joining us on Monday to talk through this game. So, man, I hope it's a win. We need it, brother. We need it for the vibes, if nothing else.
I do too, but if it's a loss, we have the perfect guest coming on to break it down because he's been through the good and the bad.
Absolutely. That's a great call. That should give you enough context clues to get that one if you're a true sicko like us and know the history of the program. This has been fun, brother. Good times and bad. Always enjoy chopping it up with you. Hopefully talk some of you off the ledge or maybe put some of you onto the ledge. Either way, that's not how's that my fault? That's going to do it for Out of the Blue. Make sure you like, share, subscribe, wear your suits to let them know that you mean business. I am Jared. That's Andy. This is Out of the Blue. We'd like to remind you that wherever you go, go blue.